Welcome to another episode of Code with Toyo. Um, I promise to introduce us to our programming language and how you can use it for data science. So always a kind of confusion between R, Python. Why should I use R? Why should I use Python? Just want you to understand that Python is an all-purpose programming language, while R is made basically for statistical data science task and anything scientific related, but R can do um, more statistics, mathematics, while Python can do almost everything. So that's just the major differences between Python and R. So if you have been following the last videos, we had to do something with Python, um, be able to check probably a trend of how a baby grows and all of this. So you can use any programming language at all for whatever you want to do. But one thing you should be worried about, or one thing you should learn, is the syntax of the language. Syntax is the rule of how you write the language. So, like when we have equal to be an assignment in Python, um, to assign a value in R is always this operator, or equal to at times. They have something in common, Python and R. So if you know one, you can always extend the knowledge into another one. So let's just go straight into what we have today. So you can actually use either your Anaconda that has R in it, or Spider or Jupyter Notebook, or you can write R in your VS Code or R Studio. Basically, the best thing to use is always your R Studio, since this is created for that purpose. So when you're in your R Studio environment, you hit on the plus sign. You want to add a new R script. You can see other things you can add: text file, C++, Python, SQL script, and all of those things. So we are having a new R script. It will give us a blank area. If you look at your R Studio, to the left you have where you are writing your code. Below it you have where you see your output. To the right you have where you see your object, and this side where you see your chart and other things. So let's just get started with it. Let's say we have um, atomics. Let's just have two group of atomics that hold both the month and how the baby changes in age. So let me say month. So instead of the equal to sign, I'm going to assign this way, and I will assign it as an atomic with C, identifying just a vector. Let's say month one, two, three, four, five, six, 7. So 7 months for the baby. And if I say weight, I'm having an assignment to an atomic of C. And the weight, let's say the baby started from 3.5, went to 3.7, went to 4.2, um, 4.6, dropped back to 4.3. That's one, two, three, four, five. The sixth one went back to 4.8. And at the end of the day, we had a little um, increase as well, 4.9, for example. So these are all the values that we have, one for months and one for weight. So just like we have it in um, Python, same arrangement. When we have a group of atomic, the next thing we want to do is we want to convert it into what it's called a frame, so that we can use it. But even before that, I wanted to see how excellent R is when it comes to statistical and data science tasks. I could just easily start looking at different information about um, my data. I could see the mean, the median, the minimum value, the maximum value, the summary of my data. Let's try with this. If I go to summary of my, if I want to see a month. So another thing is this: each line of code you write is an object. So after writing a line of code, you have to run it or control enter so that it registers as an object here. An array you can see between 1 and 7. And yes, run the other one. It's registered as a second object, so I can look at the summary. You can see, if you take a look at what we have down here, it's telling me something. It's saying the minimum value is 1, the first quartile, that's the 25th percentile, is 2.5, the median value, standard deviation, 75th percentile, and the max. So something like if you're used to looking at box plots always appear this way, and you can check for the IQR and everything possible. So you can see just by saying summary of a particular um, set of entry, we can see a whole lot of information about it. So let's just move on. Let's convert these. Other things you can do, yes, you can check for um, minimum value, and of course, the summary will always give you all of these, the minimum value of months or the minimum value of the weight. So, the minimum value, the maximum value, mean, max, summary, medium, standard deviation, variance, whatever things you want to check that has to do with statistics. So, but next thing we want to do, let's say we want to quickly convert atomics to data frame for analysis. So that's quite easy. So let's call it a data. We call the data dot. We call it a data. We assign it to the data dot frame in R. And what do we want to convert into frame? We want to convert two things into frame. The first thing, the month, and the second thing, the weight. So just this is able to help us convert. You can see now we have a data with seven objects and two variables. That means seven rows of entry, and the variables represent the columns or the fields. So if I just come here right now and I want to see data, if I just want to print data, so automatically you can see it's giving me my data here as a little bit of image, and in my display area I can see my data, months and weights. You can see very very easy, same pattern like Python. Now we have established a relationship between these and these. After establishing a relationship, let's check again the summary of whatever data we have. So it's telling us now that the minimum value is this, minimum for month, minimum for weight. You can see how it has categorized our data and giving us a frame. So the next thing we want to do after checking for summary is we want to um, plot a trend showing babies um, growth. So one thing you should understand is just like Jupyter Notebook, R Studio runs your code line by line. It's a line by line execution. So you have to run a previous line before the next one to gain access to it. So if you want to plot in R, we are definitely most of the time we are going to be using ggplot, which is a library that comes with R Studio. So if for some reason you don't have it, which is impossible, some of the libraries come by default. But if you want to install any new library or new packages, as easy as saying calling the install dot packages function in R, then you pass the library name as a string, then you run it. But I learned ggplot too. But of course, I have it installed already, so I'm not going to be installing any packages. Rather, I will call it from the library, and I want to fetch the ggplot too. So when I do this, automatically it becomes available to me so that I can use it um, for plotting. So what do we want to plot? Again, we say we want to plot and show the trend and show the trend of whatever data we have up there. So you could see that the first thing we want to actually call the ggplot and want to pass the data into it. And we want to say on the x-axis give us a month, on the y-axis give us a weight. We want to concatenate use some kind of a little bit of functionality. We want the chart to be a line chart with a blue color and a thickness of 1. And we want the points at each point of the month we're taking from the x-axis to be red. And of course, in Python we have title. This is labs. These are the labels that we have. We have title labels on X, labels on Y. So it's just um, same thing that we are looking at, but in different syntax, in different approach of writing. So if I do this and I run this, automatically I should see my chart somewhere on the right, showing me my data points and everything. So if we have any error, I'm going to see it. It's saying error, germline problem where aesthetics occurred in the first layer. Okay, month, not an object. So I think I see what is going on here. I was calling months of value months and wait. Okay, so let's just run this now. This should work. Okay, perfect. So you can see it's working now. We have a chart on the right showing baby's growth over months, and you can see how it's a trend line. So the difference between um, Python and R again is that in Python you have to import the library, you have to learn how to use most of the library, but R is built for this. So most of the things you are going to be using, most of the functionalities you need, it's already embedded in R. You just need to call them at any particular point in time. So see the difference like this. Look at an analogy like you are going to a fight where a sword is allowed, but you are going with a machine gun. So the sword is R, the machine gun is Python. Can do a whole lot of things, but R can still get the work done. So basically, that's how you um, use R for simple analysis and just calling the summary. You're able to see a whole details about your data, and we're going to be doing subsequent videos on R. I think we should do it this week. Whatever we do in Python as to data science, you come back and do it in R and just let you pick the convenient programming language you want to use. So see you in the next couple of videos.